A human-created system can become so deeply institutionalized that one individual cannot escape its consequences by withdrawing personal belief. You can decide money does not define your worth. Good. That is internal freedom. You cannot decide the mortgage contract no longer exists and expect the bank to share your revelation. Agreement can operate collectively and institutionally, even after personal agreement disappears. This distinction is essential. Some abstractions require your agreement primarily to govern your inner life. Others are externally enforced, whether you agree or not. You can reject racism internally while still encountering racial discrimination externally. You can reject a beauty hierarchy while still existing inside a culture that rewards certain appearances. You can reject a religious definition of sin while family members continue judging you through it. You can refuse to believe wealth equals worth while still needing currency to buy groceries. Internal withdrawal of agreement does not erase external systems. It stops giving those systems unnecessary authority over the meaning of your own existence. That is a different kind of freedom. This structure exists. I understand its function. I understand what it can materially do. I refuse to turn its judgment into my entire ren. That is self-governance. Now we need categories, because confusion between categories is one of INCEPTION's favorite hiding places. Some of the most powerful things controlling human behavior are things nobody can physically hand you. Hand me water. Easy. Hand me soil. Show me a tree. Point toward the sun. Put a stone on the table. Show me a wound, a house, a body, a river, a loaf of bread, a weapon. These have physical presence whether human beings agree about their names or not. Now hand me success. Put justice on the table. Show me sin without first giving me a religious framework. Place patriotism in my palm. Show me respect without showing me behavior you interpret as respectful. Show me civilized. Show me holiness. Show me worth. Show me status. Show me masculinity itself, rather than a body, hormone, behavior, garment, occupation, expectation, or social role. Show me the value of money without showing me paper, metal, numbers, contracts, labor, goods, banks, laws, institutions, trusts, scarcity, production, or human agreement. You cannot. And yet human beings spend entire lives chasing these things, defending them, suffering underneath them, killing for them, dying for them, judging themselves through them, judging strangers through them, building institutions around them, destroying relationships over them, losing sleep over them, feeling inferior because of them, feeling superior because of them. The invisible can rule the visible when human beings organize themselves around it. That is the misconception we destroy here. Because an abstract concept creates real consequences, the abstraction itself must exist. In the same way a mountain, body, storm, tree, or river exist. No, but do not make the opposite mistake. Abstract does not mean fake. Abstract does not mean powerless. Abstract does not mean irrelevant. An abstraction can be non-physical while its consequences become brutally physical. Justice cannot be placed on a table, but a judge can speak and a human being can lose 30 years of freedom. Citizenship cannot be held in your hand as a natural substance, yet citizenship can determine whether someone may vote, travel, remain inside a territory, work legally, or be deported. Ownership is not a chemical property inside land, yet one document can determine who is permitted to live on the land and who can be physically removed from it. Marriage is partly social and legal abstraction, but it can change inheritance, taxation, property, medical authority, parental rights, and family life. Money's value is not hidden inside the paper as a natural force, yet losing access to money can mean losing food, medicine, shelter, transportation, and safety. An abstraction can be invisible and still become embodied through human behavior. This is where society pulls off one of its greatest psychological tricks. Human beings create a category, repeat the category, organize laws around the category, reward obedience to the category, punish violations of the category, teach the category to children, and eventually, generations are born inside the category and experience it as though nature itself created it. That is the invisible installation. Nobody needs to hide it. It is hidden by familiarity. Look around. Money, nationality, citizenship, debt, credit, property, professional, criminal, success, failure, beauty, ugly, respectable, masculine, feminine, race, status, class, marriage, legitimacy, holiness, sin, patriotism, civilization, normal. These are not all the same kind of thing, but they share something important. Human interpretation participates in their meaning, and once enough humans agree, the consequences can become material. This is where I want you to hold the mirror to society. Imagine every human being vanished tomorrow. Earth would continue rotating, the sun would continue radiating, rivers would continue moving according to physical conditions, water would freeze and boil under appropriate conditions, gravity would continue, trees would grow where conditions allowed, animals would continue living, mountains would remain. Now ask what happens to dollars. Paper might remain, numbers might remain on dead computer systems for a while, bank buildings might remain, but the dollar would no longer purchase anything because nobody exists to honor the agreement. A border fence might remain physically standing, but the political border would stop functioning because no government, citizen, soldier, passport office, or legal system remains to enforce it. A courthouse might remain, but law would no longer operate because law requires human institutions and human participation. A designer handbag might remain physically intact, but its status value disappears when no human consciousness exists to recognize the brand. A diamond remains a mineral. Luxury disappears. A mansion remains a large structure. Success disappears. A uniform remains cloth. Rank disappears. A crown remains metal and decoration. Kingship disappears. A diploma remains paper. Credential authority disappears. Look carefully. The physical object remains. The abstract agreement evaporates. That tells you something enormous. Human beings live simultaneously inside physical reality and inside worlds of agreement. And because we are born inside both, we often forget which is which. This is how invisible ideas acquire the psychological force of natural law. Gravity says your body falls. Society says a person with this salary is successful. Those are not the same type of statement. Fire burns regardless of your opinion. Society says this neighborhood is prestigious. Not the same. Bodies age. Society says aging reduces beauty. Not the same. Biological sex traits exist. Society constructs additional expectations around masculinity and femininity. Not the same. Human beings require resources to survive. Society determines many of the rules through which resources are produced, owned, exchanged, inherited, taxed, restricted, or distributed. Not the same. Nature creates conditions. Humans create many of the rules operating inside those conditions. Confuse the two, and human arrangements begin appearing as inevitable as weather. Then someone says, that's just how the world works. Which world? Gravity or banking? Biology or fashion? Rainfall or corporate hierarchy? Metabolism or professional dress codes? Death or inheritance law? Do not let one sentence blur them together. That's just reality. Show me which part. This is how you pull the pants down from abstraction. Strip off the wren. Remove the emotional costume. Put the function on the table. What exactly is happening? Who agreed to what? Who enforces it? Who benefits? Who carries the cost? What disappears if agreement disappears? What remains because physical reality continues regardless of agreement?